Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday, and I am super excited to see you all again. My name is Nzali. This is Nzali Takes Africa on YouTube, but I also am the founder of SheWorks Digital. We are a virtual assistant agency, and we help businesses scale and elevate while we also elevate women on the African continent. So I'm super excited to come to you all. Usually we do a live, but today I actually pre-recorded for you due to some personal matters. But nonetheless, I have made a commitment to myself to be consistent with myself, to be consistent with you all, and to be consistent with my business. So here I am on the pre-recorded video just for you. So if you are new to the SheWorks Digital Africa family or Nzali Takes Africa, what I would love for you to do right now is to like this video, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel Nzali Takes Africa, and share this content with your friends and your family. Also, I would love for you all to follow me on Instagram. That's at Nzali Takes Africa and at SWD Africa. That's the way that you'll be able to stay in touch with me with all the happenings for both of those pages and all that good stuff. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you all too long in here today because I have some really good information for all my business owners. I know oftentimes we've talked about this whole concept of having a virtual assistant, having some support in your business, what mindset you need to have, what type of adjustments do you need to make in your company, make sure that you're able to get the best out of your virtual assistant. Well, today, what we're actually going to focus on are what most business owners want to know the most, and that is what about the money? So today we're going to focus on the numbers. Okay. So I know previously you all have heard me say a number of things when it comes to the benefits of having a virtual executive assistant. You've heard me talk about the lower cost, right? When it comes to taxes, benefits, office space, PTO, all of those costs that come with having a full-time employee. You've also heard me talk about the flexibility of the work hours, where you can kind of create a flexible schedule that fits your life and your business and your virtual assistant. Okay. And also paying for the work that's actually done. I have been a person who's worked in an office space before, and I've had that what we call like dead time during the day, right? Where you really don't have that much more left. So you're trying to stretch out your task over the next 2-3 hours just to say that you were there and you were productive, right? I've been there. And as a business owner, that dead time really, really hurts your soul because you're like, I'm paying for this time. I need a little bit more, right? I've also given you the idea of scalability, like adjusting your support as your business grows. Having a virtual assistant better helps you be able to do that in a more reasonable, feasible manner. I've also mentioned having the global talent. So not being so narrow in your selection pool of talent that you can choose from that's highly skilled, and also being able to find some highly skilled talent potentially at a lower cost, right? And then of course, the last piece is eliminating some of those HR headaches, migraines that you may have, handling the payroll, handling process, compliance, long-term commitments, all of that stuff we have talked about extensively in our Friday chats. So today I actually want to show you the numbers. What does it look like numerically for a small business of 1 to 10 employees if you bring on an executive assistant in-house versus if you have a virtual assistant that is remote? But before to make sure that go ahead and book a discovery call. If you are a small business owner and you have been contemplating bringing on some additional help, you have been thinking about having a virtual assistant be that additional help. Before we even break down the numbers, because I know you have faith, I want you to go ahead and go to SheWorksDigitalAfrica.com, click on Hire a VA, and schedule that consultation call. That free 15-minute call, we're just going to discuss your business, where you're going, and you get to ask me any questions that you have about what virtual assistants do, how they can best support you, and what our process is like in helping you realize your dreams as a business owner. All right, so you have our website, you know where to go to set up that call so that we can get acquainted. Now let's jump into the numbers. So, y'all know I used to be a teacher. So I love a good graphic. I think graphics help people visualize things better and break down and understand information. So what I have done today is I've created a comparison chart. This comparison chart is based on the following model group. This is for a business owner that's a small business, anywhere between 1 to 10 employees. Okay. I also looked up the average salary in the United States for an executive assistant. That average salary is $60,000. I actually decreased it a little bit to $55,000, and that's what we're going to use as our base salary for an in-house executive assistant. So what you see on the screen, the very first column is our criteria. These are all the recurring expenses that we have as business owners when we take on employees, right? The second column is the in-house executive assistant. So if you have an in-house executive assistant, on average, if you are a business with 1 to 10 employees, a small business, you have an in-house executive assistant, this on average is what you would pay for the certain criteria that we've established, right? The third and final column is what you would pay for a virtual assistant on average. Keep in mind that this is an average, right? Of course, there's room to the pricing of a virtual assistant, and we'll get to that after we break down this costing. Okay, so let's look at the first piece of criteria. It's the base salary. So as I said, I did a little research. I looked up the average or median cost for an executive assistant that is in your office space. Okay, and for that in the United States, it was $60,000, but I bumped it down to be generous to $55,000 a year. Okay, so if you are having that person, you will basically pay $55,000 a year for that person to be in office. If you were having a virtual assistant, okay, this one is someone that's out of office, you're outsourcing outside of your building. Average for the year, potentially you would pay $30,000 a year. Immediately as a business owner, 30,000 sounds better to me than 55,000. I'm just saying. But let's continue. So the second piece of criteria as a business owner that you pay for employees in the United States is payroll taxes. And that can range between 10 to 12%. So I did a roundabout estimate to say in payroll taxes for that employee in-house, you would pay about $6,050, right? For your virtual assistant, it would be zero. There's no direct employment. You're hiring virtual assistants as independent contractors. Therefore, they take care of their own taxes, so you don't have to pay taxes on them. All right. Another criteria that you would have for an in-house employee is health insurance, right? You want to make sure that your people can remain healthy so that they can continue to do and be the best that they can for you and your business. So on average for a year, you pay about $6,500 for health insurance for your in-house employee. Well, if you had a virtual assistant, $6,500 now turns to $0 because again, they're independent contractors. You are not responsible for their health care coverage. Now, looking at the 401k, again, that can be between 3 to 5% if you had an in-house executive assistant. Roughly for the year, that's $2,200. For your virtual assistant, it's zero. When you look at any type of bonuses or incentives, and I know that a lot of businesses, especially when they're smaller, they don't think about the incentives, but you always want to keep the morale high so that you have high productivity. So bonus and incentives, let's just say a few office parties, a gift on a birthday, a bonus for doing well with their performance. Let's just say for the year that employee, you would spend $2,500. For your virtual assistant, again, that number decreases to zero unless in the agreement there is an optional performance-based incentive or commission that you've agreed to. Now let's look at the office space and equipment, because if a person is in-house, that means you have a location. So for that particular employee, let's say you have a desk, laptop, that's their station. So let's say for that employee, that's another $2,500. For your virtual assistant is zero because they're working remotely. They supply their own materials like their laptop, their internet, all of that. When you have an in-house employee, of course, there's constant development and training. So let's say per year, you may pay for your employee to have some upskilling. That's $1,500. For your virtual assistant, on average, maybe you would spend $1,000. But just to give you a little benefit of joining with SheWorks Digital Africa, we actually take that off of your plate. So as SheWorks Digital Africa, we do the training for you. You don't have to pay out of pocket additional for training of your virtual assistants through us. So we would even take out that extra $1,000 for you. So that's just a little extra benefit from us. Another piece that you would have to pay for if you had an in-house executive assistant, which would be paid time off, PTO. Let's say that's $4,500 a year. For your virtual assistant, that would be zero. You're only paying them for the work that is done. So you don't have to pay them for the time off. Now, recruiting and hiring, if you had to go out and spend money to find this person, recruit this hire, it would be $1,500. If you were paying SheWorks Digital Africa, we have a range, but let's just say on $1,000 for service for our services or an agency services to bring the virtual assistant. Okay. And in any office, always some overhead. So let's say for your in-house executive assistant, on average, $1,500. For your virtual assistant, let's say it's $1,000 that you would have as admin overhead. Maybe that's paying for an additional Gmail account for that virtual assistant so that they have a personalized email account for your company. It may be making sure that you've added an additional subscription to your softwares for them to be able to access and work from. All right. So let's also think about any additional benefits or perks that you may give to your employee throughout the year. Just averaging it around $1,500. If you had a virtual assistant, that number would decrease to zero. So when we break the numbers down on average, if you have an in-house executive assistant, you're looking at $35,750 a year totality for that in-house virtual assistant. However, if you turn that in-house executive assistant into a virtual assistant, your number decreases to $32,500 for the year. That is a 62% reduction annually. Now, I don't know about you, but I know about in my business, I have a 62% reduction in expenditure for an employee. I would jump to it. I have jumped to it. I have a virtual assistant. So this saves you so much more money when you are actually a person who's scaling, right? So imagine what you could do with that additional 62, right? What could you do with that? Could that be additional ad campaigns that you use to bring in leads to your business? Could that be hiring a marketing executive to come and help with your marketing and brand strategy? Could that be you as a business owner, of course, to upskill for yourself as a business leader? It could be so many additional things with that 2% reduction in cost that you've paid out just by one simple action, and that is hiring a virtual assistant. So as I said at the beginning of this video, SheWorks Digital Africa, we have two primary focuses: and other businesses. The way that we elevate business, number one, we take out the stress of you running around trying to find the perfect VA. We find the perfect virtual assistant for you. Number two, we help you find the right person, right cost. Because again, we're all about making sure that we're scaling, but we're being reasonable with our money as well. And the last thing that we do is we take care of the overhead. We handle the payroll, we handle the training. All you have to do is assign the task to your VA, and we take care of the rest. So again, if you are interested in hiring a virtual assistant, you want to claim that 62% reduction annually, which is $250 that you're saving by hiring a virtual assistant, then go ahead and go right now to SheWorksDigitalAfrica.com. Click on Hire a VA. Let's set up a call. I would love, love, love to speak to you. And let's get you set up with an amazing, highly skilled, qualified virtual assistant for the right cost. Again, I love you all. Thank you all for joining me today for this recording, not the live I normally do, but I still promise that I've given you something that I know you will go back home, you'll think about. And I look forward to talking to you very, very soon with your free discovery call. You can't beat that, right? All right. My name is Nzali, and I can't wait to see you on next Friday. Take care. Bye.